Recently, Mr. Don Lemon held an interview on CNN with Kurt Schlichter, a conservative columnist, and Tara Grant, a Donald Trump supporter, about Donald Trump's comments relating to the DNC debate on December the 19th, 2015. More specifically, about the infamous moment where Hillary Clinton had a bathroom break that lasted too long and she did not come back to the stage on time. So they started the actual debate for a few seconds without her on stage. The comments that Trump had were a little, some would say nasty, some would say disparaging, some would say disrespectful. I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit of video. You can see for yourself, and we'll come back and talk about it.
I know where she went. It's disgusting. I don't want to talk about it. No, it's too disgusting. Don't say it. It's disgusting. Let's not do it. We want to be very, very straight up, okay? But I thought wasn't that a weird deal? We're ready to start. They were looking. They gave her every benefit of the doubt because, you know, it's ABC and she practically owns ABC. She really does. I mean, George Stephanopoulos interviewed me the other day. It was terrible.
So you saw what he said. Me personally, I think it was kind of silly. You know, I think that's part of Trump's whole brand, to say silly things, to say kind of off-brand, crass things. And every time he does that, he becomes more popular. I think it's because Americans are tired of just the normal, polished, empty suits that are in Washington, D.C. They want somebody that's more like them, as like a regular guy. He's talking about Hillary getting schlonged and, you know, it was disgusting. Things like that the average person can relate to, rather than cryptic political speak and what appears to be canned speech from guys like Ted Cruz, not Ted Cruz, but Marco Rubio, guys like that, where you know it's not really real, it's not really genuine. So people like Trump for those reasons. But some people are offended. A lot of people are offended, actually. And this is what brings me to Don Lemon's interview with Kurt Schlichter and Tara Grant. During the interview, Don Lemon was really trying to get to brass tacks about the comments. He's like, come on, this isn't presidential, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to go ahead and show you a little bit of video from that, and we'll come back and talk about it.
Why did he have to go there?
Well, that's a good question. I'm still confused as to, A, why it was brought up, why it was discussed at a rally, but I'm even more confused as to why we're still talking about it. It's definitely gone to the toilet as far as there are so many other things that we can be discussing about Hillary Clinton, her politics, her ideologies, and we're discussing her going to the potty. I mean,
well, I understand what you're saying, but I think we're discussing the comment and whether it's appropriate for someone who is running as a leader of the free world to make comments about a woman going to the restroom, or whether someone was, as he says, schlonged or not. Mr. Schlichter, what do you think of that, Kurt?
Don, it's going to take a lot more for me to get upset at a woman who enabled a guy who turned the Oval Office into a frat house and his intern into a humidor.
So my question to you, without mentioning the Clintons and Bill Clinton, which has been
why we mention George Bush every time.
Wait, let me finish my statement. Yeah, my statement, which has already been litigated and relitigated on the own merits. Donald Trump's statements on the campaign trail. You don't think it's fair that the media should be covering it?
Oh, I don't think it's unfair. I just think it's silly. Look, he's running against Hillary Clinton.
Absolutely.
He's running against the sexual harasser and abuser's enabler. So, again, I don't know why we're not talking about that. You know, it has been litigated.
We're not talking about that because it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with what happened. She's not her husband. Her husband was hang on. Her husband has been impeached over that.
But Donald Trump's not known to be politically correct or a politician
and
either.
You're still, hold on, guys. Both of you are talking over me. Let me finish. And then first Kurt, and then I will let you respond. You're talking about something that happened over a decade ago. The man has been impeached for it. She is not responsible for her husband's actions, yet you are bringing it into a campaign, and it doesn't seem fair. What if you did the same thing with Donald Trump from something his spouse or his father, if someone else did in his family? It has nothing to do with him running for president. We're talking about his own actions, his own individual merit. So, if you're going to talk about Hillary Clinton, then bring Hillary Clinton's actions into it. Don't bring her husband's actions into it.
I'd like to bring Hillary Clinton's actions into it.
Absolutely.
When she was given the choice between standing with a serial sexual abuser.
All right, Kurt. Stop. That's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. Can we stop that, please? It is not fair. It is not fair. It is a low blow. It is yes, I want to end it. So this is the lowest of the low. And it has nothing to do with Hillary Clinton. It is just a cheap shot that... Can you please stop? Can we stop? Can we cut him off, please? Thank you. Can we end this? Thank you.
So you see how that kind of got out of hand. Don Lemon was really trying to, like I said, he was trying to boil down the brass tacks. And it's like, look, you know, you can't say things like that. It's not presidential, et cetera, et cetera. And then, you know, Kurt Schlichter was bringing up, he brought up a valid point when he said, well, what about Hillary and the sexual abuse allegations with Bill Clinton? Now, he didn't say allegations, really. He was just like calling him an abuser. So I can see where Don Lemon is probably getting some feedback in his ear. And it's like, well, you can't let him say that he's an abuser because where's the evidence, like, as far as any convictions? I mean, most people know that Bill Clinton is not a good guy, right? Anytime you're married and then your White House intern gets something on her dress, you know, that's just not good. And there's been a lot of other allegations. You see them in pictures, you know, you see him on the island with these millionaires, etc. And Hillary will stand by him. There was even a situation where Hillary got asked a question on the campaign trail about Hillary's comments saying that any rape victim should be believed. And then the person in the audience said, well, what about Juanita Broderick and people like that have accused your husband of rape and sexual assault? Should they be believed as well? And she answered it like a politician. She was like, well, they should be believed at first. And then when evidence proves them wrong, they should be unbelieved. And she smiled because she knew she had nailed the answer. People think like this. People think about Hillary and they think about Bill Clinton. How could you not link the two? You have to link the two, and you have to bring up the numerous sexual assault and rape allegations that he has against him, and just the general infidelity, which was evident with the whole Monica Lewinsky thing, right? So we have to talk about that. But at the same time, Don Lemon wasn't really trying to let him talk about it, which I understand. But at the same time, you have to talk about it. Don Lemon, I've defended in the past. I have a video about him where they tried to get him removed. And I'll go ahead and put that in the upper right-hand corner, where it was a petition going around trying to get him removed from CNN. It got like close to 100,000 signatures. I'm not sure how many signatures it wound up with, or if it actually went anywhere. It was a pretty big deal, you know, back when that was going on. It's kind of just a weird situation. Don Lemon was kind of in between the rock and the hard place, because in interviews like this, is usually you have Don Lemon will be the moderator, and then you have one person that is against Trump and one person that is supporting Trump, and then they can go back and forth, and then Don Lemon can moderate. But what happened on this time was Don Lemon was the one that was against Trump, and the two people on the opposite sides were the guests. So instead of him moderating, he became more of a pundit himself, which I don't like. I don't like when reporters and journalists cross the line and blur the lines in between journalism and punditry. And I praise Don Lemon for not being a pundit. But in that situation, he was kind of put in between the rock and the hard place. Like I said, he's probably getting feedback in his ear that's saying, hey, you can't let them say that. You know, but that put him in a bad spot. So next time you want to talk about Trump, have one person on there that's going to be against him and have one for him. And then they can both share their opinion, and then they can just get out. Because what ended up happening, they kind of set him up. I blame this on CNN because they set it up weird. Kurt Schlichter was a funny guy, but he had a very valid point. And I think Don Lemon had a valid point as well, but he was in the wrong position to give that point. He should have been on a different channel, maybe like MSNBC, as a pundit rather than being a journalist that's supposed to moderate between the two sides. That's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please rate, comment, share, subscribe. Peace.